The little girl pushed open the door, unexpectedly saw my mother's bloody body, but she just calmly put down her backpack, and then I started writing my homework. Here. The killer is secretly observing him. A few drops of blood fell on the homework book. The girl doesn't seem to have seen it. Concentrate on sharpening the pencil. The killer thought he was too young. I don't understand what blood and death are, so I let him go. But when the killer leaves, the girl just started to speak out in pain. He understands everything. Just now, I was just pretending to protect myself. 20 years have passed in a blink of an eye. The girl Helen became a police officer. She never gave up searching for the killer of her mother. This day, the police station has received a murder case. Jaime rushed to the scene, but I found that the scene before me was exactly the same as when my mother was killed. The excitement in his heart was heavily suppressed by him. Calmly watched the forensic examination of the body. The victim's mouth and eyes were sealed with tape. Abdominal incision. Jaime suddenly said, "Open his mouth. Is the car watcher present?" My tongue has been cut off. Sure enough, even the crime tactics are the same. The killer must be the same person. Jaime has been studying the killer for 20 years, knowing that the killer is a very arrogant person, not paying any attention to the police at all. It's even possible to call and provoke. Sure enough, the killer really called. The police were already prepared. Quickly caught the suspect according to the telephone address. Xiaogang also found a few tons in his refrigerator. The murderer has finally been caught. But Jaime's first glance at Xiaogang, I knew he wasn't the one who killed his mother, because Xiaogang is only 22 years old. 20 years ago, he was only 2 years old. But the culprit in this case is indeed Xiaogang, and it's the same technique as killing a mother. Xiaogang must know the real killer. Little sister originally wanted to imprison Xiaogang. Slowly interrogate. But I don't want Xiaogang to go on a hunger strike, because he must eat a snakehead every meal. This murderer is amazing. Every meal must have one ton to eat. Otherwise, there will be a hunger strike. The police wanted him to reveal the mastermind behind the scenes. Can only temporarily satisfy him. Xiaogang is eating and eating. Eating a note from the meal. It says to make him commit suicide immediately. Also comes with a thoughtful blade as a gift. Wait for the police to arrive. Xiaogang actually obediently committed suicide. The clue is interrupted again, until Jaime met a girl named Xiaomei. Xiaomei is very timid. You'll hide when you see people. However, strangely enough, she actually has a photo and phone number of Jaime on her body. Prior to this, the two have never met before. Jaime's intuition is that Xiaomei is related to the real culprit. Take her home to observe. But Xiaomei doesn't even have the basic ability to take care of herself, not able to dress and eat by oneself. I even wet my pants. Jaime suspects that Xiaomei has been imprisoned by the killer for a long time, so I called my colleagues over to my house, asked them to help investigate the missing girl within 10 years, and then temporarily entrust Xiaomei to the care of her colleagues. He took his assistant to visit the families of the missing girl. On the way, she received a call from the killer. The killer accused her of handing over Xiaomei to a group of stinky men. Upon hearing this, Jaime, the killer has been monitoring her house all along. She rushed home quickly. Unfortunately, it's too late. All colleagues were killed. Jaime turned around to pursue the killer. As soon as I left, I met Xiaomei. What are you doing here? Uncle is playing hide and seek with us. Where is Uncle? Behind you. Jaime was pinned to the door by the real culprit. The real culprit, who has been searching for 20 years, is right behind us. But he couldn't turn back at all. The killer gave her many hints. Say, watching him grow up from a young age, knowing that he often wakes up in the middle of the night. I even know that he came to the physiological stage for the first time at the age of 16. I don't even know who I am. Then Uncle will punish you. Guess who I am. Then Uncle will punish you. Fortunately, this knife only cut through the skin. Jaime's body is not seriously affected. The words of the killer gave him great inspiration, and he quickly locked in the target. It's Lao Wan, a retired police officer from the police station, because since my mother was killed, Jaime became an orphan. Lao Wan once adopted her for a period of time, and when they followed Lao Wan, coincidentally discovered two young girls getting off his car. After Lao Wan was arrested, Xiaomei identified him as his uncle. This further confirms the previous speculation. Once the news is released, the victims' families are all blocked at the entrance of the police station. Someone was so emotional that he stabbed Lao Wan to death. The big stone in Jaime's heart that avenges the enemy has finally landed. He cleared all the information he had collected before. The whole person relaxed down, preparing to fall in love with his pursuing colleague Xia Shuai, because in the 20 years he has been persistently searching for the killer. Many people have advised him to give up. Only Xiaosui has always supported him, encouraged him. Under the influence of alcohol, the two of them slowly approached. When Xiaosui goes to take a shower, his phone rings. Jaime picked it up casually. Feed. Handsome and handsome, you promise not to kill my dad? Mommies. Don't lie to me. It's Xiaomei calling. Jaime suddenly understood everything. The real culprit is Xiaosui, this dressed beast. Jaime wants to take out the pistol from the box. Xiaosui quietly appeared behind her. Jaime wants to fight against him like hell, but his strength cannot match that of a man after all. Quickly knocked out by the collision, wait for him to wake up again. discovered that Ziosui not only tied her up, and Ziomei and a few girls. Ziosui proudly told a few people about his abnormal path. When he was young, I accidentally pushed my friend into the lake and drowned. He was originally scared, afraid of being discovered. As a result, no one suspected him as a child. At that time, he understood the principle of black under the light. As we age, and the courage is getting stronger, Hawaii's mother was killed by him when he was 15 years old. Now he's going to kill everyone in the house. The first one is Ziomei. Then came the second Haimei, who urgently cursed that he was not a man, successfully transferred the gold to oneself. Suddenly, Ziomei used her last bit of strength to sneak attack Ziosui. Haimei took the opportunity to cut the rope, pick up the pistol on the ground, send the real killer to hell. Everything has finally come to an end. Haimei, however, had no pleasure in seeking revenge. The room was filled with her suppressed